Welcome to Insight Builder channel, large language model automators, Python experts, and my dear friends. Can you tell me about Argilla? How to clear workspace and remove datasets from Argilla server? There are two routes in Argilla for doing this through the Python SDK that has been provided by Argilla team. First, you have to use argilla.list workspaces to find the workspace that you want the datasets to be removed from. And then there are two ways. For the first generation, you have to directly call the delete from the Argilla module itself. Also, you can list the datasets, the first generation datasets from the Argilla module. And in case of second generation, you can list the datasets using the feedback dataset class method, and you can delete it using the feedback dataset delete method. So this is pretty straightforward options that we have got, and we will see this in action in a couple of minutes. Let's go to the dataset notebooks, and this record dataset notebook will be provided to you over the GitHub repo, and the link will be shared in the description below. I'm connecting to the Argilla server right now, and I'm going to connect with the workspace called as Argilla, and I'm going to create some datasets so that we can delete it and practice how to work on the deleting process. So here I'm creating some basic text classification datasets, and I'm actually pushing it into the Argilla server. So let us complete the connection process. Yeah, I think no workspace configuration has been detected, so I'm going to create the workspace. Let us ensure that the workspace gets through. Okay, there is an error. It seems that the error is because there is already a workspace called as Argilla existing, so that's not a problem. Then I can actually start pushing this particular text classification dataset into the Argilla server. So that should proceed without much of a challenge. That did proceed. And another one dataset that I'm going to push is from the Gen2. So both of these datasets, we'll push it and see how it works. So yeah, I can also push a text-to-text record Gen1 dataset. And next, I'm going to push some Gen2 dataset. So this is feedback dataset for natural language inference. I'm going to push this into Argilla server. I'm just ensuring that everything is on track. I'm going to push it, and let us go to the server, and yeah, you can see that all the datasets are up and in right now. I want to delete all these datasets. In order to delete all these datasets, we will again go to the notebooks. This clearing workspaces notebook also will be shared with you guys in the GitHub repo, and I'm going to connect from this notebook again. So this is a different notebook, Jupyter notebook. So this is a different session altogether that I'm connecting to the Argilla server, and I'm going to list the workspaces. So this is different from the record and dataset notebook that I created. So this is two different sets. You can see that I can list the workspace using this method rg.list workspaces. Sorry, it's a function. And I can see my the Argilla workspace here, right? And next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to connect. I'm going to try and create the workspace object using rg.workspace from name Argilla. Why this is required is that if you are going to try to work with the workspaces, it is better to have a Python object rather than calling every time the name, etc. It's better to have it as a class or an object in Python. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to try and list the various data sets in the workspace. So for that, what we are going to do is arg workspace, or you can actually do this way, rg.list datasets. And when you're going to say list datasets, you need to provide the workspace name. So excuse me, sorry about that. I have to give the workspace argument, and I need to give the name of the workspace. In our case, it's Argilla. So this, I think there will be one more explanation that I can also provide at the bottom. Here we are going to list it as a list of datasets. You can see that the OIT token classification set that we pushed from Gen1, and T to T, that is text to text record, is also inside. And that's what you're seeing here. Next, you can actually list the data sets from the feedback dataset type. So if you execute this, you will see that it is creating a list of data sets, and it will list the ds underscore T to T. We have seen how to look at the data sets that is available for both Gen1 and Gen2. So this is for Gen1 that we saw, Gen1 dataset. And for Gen2 dataset, we used rg.feedback dataset. We did not actually create a we did not create an object of any dataset to list it. All we had to do was call this feedback dataset class directly, and then use the list from that class itself. So you don't need to create an instance in order to work with it. That is something that you guys have to keep in mind. And then I'm going to say Gen2 for this. Next, what you're going to do is we are going to delete. So for deleting it, Gen2 deletion is pretty straightforward. You have to use rg.feedback dataset from Argilla. So you have to first of all connect to the dataset, and then you have to call the delete on that dataset. So without connecting, you will not be able to delete the dataset. So that is what is happening here. And once I execute this particular cell, it will delete the ds underscore T to T. So once this is completed, you can see there is a tick mark. If you go back here, you will see that the ds T to T is no longer present in the server. Going forward, you can, let me close this, you can actually delete the Gen1 datasets in the same way, but you are going to use the delete function directly from the Argilla module, and you are going to give the dataset name and the workspace name. It is very similar to what we have done here, but we are doing it directly with the function that is under the Argilla module. So once you execute this, it will go through this process of deleting each of the datasets, and once it is done, we can actually see that there will be no longer any of the datasets also. And finally, if you want, you can delete the workspace itself, the hfgilla workspace itself. We have deleted, and now if you go back to the top and if you list the workspaces, you will see that the hfgilla workspace is no longer present. Only admin workspace that is by default created is only present. So we have actually come through the entire process of creating the datasets, and creating the workspace, listing the workspace, and then creating the datasets, both Gen1 and Gen2, and then listing the datasets, and then finally deleting the datasets. So also one more important thing is you don't need to actually have the Jupyter notebook run every time you want to delete the datasets. There is a separate script that has been already written for you guys. This script link also will be shared with you. All you need to do is run this script if you want to remove all the datasets from your workspace. So here I am considering the workspace as hfgilla. You can actually add an additional variable and get the input of the workspace name, and you can modify that in this location, and it will be ready for your particular server and your particular datasets to be deleted. So it will be a straightforward process. And moreover, if there is some kind of error getting thrown, it might actually get thrown, but most of the time the dataset should have got deleted, so you don't need to worry about it. So I believe that this particular video gives you a well-rounded idea on how to push the data into the Argilla server, and then clear out the datasets once the work is done. So do provide your feedback, and in the comment section if you have any questions or doubts. And if you like this video, do leave a like, and share this video with others. Do subscribe to my channel for further videos on similar kind of topics. Till the next video, stay tuned and practice. See you guys. Have a great time.